This video features images and subject matter that are very gruesome and macabre. If this video is not for you, I'd recommend you click off. Viewer discretion is advised. Zetsubou no Shima is an unsettling place. You'll have an eerie feeling as you walk around the map. Abominations and crimes against humanity lurk in the bowels of their labs, while the voices of the damned and the doomed scream out in agony. Their test subjects have inhuman and vile protrusions that paint a grim picture of the island's recent past. This scene is then only enhanced by the ungodly and unnatural beasts hiding around every corner of this map. Treyarch went out of their way to paint a gruesome picture of the human experimentation performed by Division 9. Where did Division 9 come from, though? Like much of Treyarch's work, we can find influences and inspiration in our very own world. This is the real-life Division 9. In 1932, Japanese Surgeon General Ishii Shiro would organize a secret scientific research group called the Togo Unit. They would perform experimentations in the fields of biological and chemical research. Their work was done in Manchuria, and interestingly enough, Shinonuma was set in Manchuria. In 1936, Emperor Hirohito would recognize the work of the Togo Unit and expand it. The Togo Unit was then implemented into the Kwantung Army and were known as the Epidemic Prevention and Water Purification Department of the Kwantung Army, or quite simply, Unit 731. Within Unit 731, there were 8 divisions, each with their own purpose. Treyarch most likely took Unit 731 and made it a step further by creating an additional division. We would know this as Division 9. Despite there being only 8 groups within the actual Unit 731, and no Element 115 was involved, their work was still as haunting. They had a special project dedicated to human experimentation, and they codenamed it Maruta. As Japan slogged through East Asia, they captured several civilians, prisoners, anti-Japanese partisans, and enemy soldiers. The Japanese took anyone, including children, the elderly, and pregnant women. They would all soon become victims of Maruta. A common practice was vivisections. Thousands of men, women, and children would be given infectious diseases. The Japanese would then open up the victims while they were still alive to study the spread of the disease throughout the body. Prisoners would also receive invasive surgeries in which organs were removed to study how the body reacted without them. This would include the removal of stomachs, brains, lungs, and livers. In some cases, the Japanese even attempted to attach body parts to other parts of the body that would not normally work or function together. These butchers often performed their surgeries while the victims were alive and rarely used anesthesia. Other experimentations included prisoners being used as live targets during weapons tests for various weapons such as flamethrowers and grenades. Plagues and various bioweapons were also tested out on the victims. It's believed that more than 400,000 Chinese civilians were killed by plagues tested on the Chinese population. The list of tests and crimes committed by Unit 731 is disgustingly long. There was no sense of humanity within Unit 731. The Geneva Protocol was blatantly ignored as biological weapons and poisons were used. The Geneva Protocol specifically prohibited and outlawed the use of these such weapons. It's a crime against humanity. The victims would then be dehumanized and often given the nickname logs. Unit 731's employees euphemistically chatted about cutting, chopping, carrying, stacking, burying, and burning their logs. And it was as if they needed more logs, and this was a joke, a game to them. They did not care about these people. They were no longer people, they were logs. The Japanese secret police would then sweep the streets for more political protesters, scofflaws, and random passerbyers and send them off by trains to suffer and die as the next batch of logs. What we see as we walk around Zetsubou no Shima is tame compared to the atrocities committed by Unit 731. It's not as grabbing or as immediately vile as a man transformed into a beast, but the scale is definitely just as disturbing. Hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children died from Maruta during the years 1935 to 1945. This is a decade of crimes against man, 10 years of long suffering, torment, and fear as terror reigned over many people throughout Manchuria, and the likes of which we can barely even comprehend. While they may not have been working with Element 115 and creating Beast, they are the real-life Division 9. I apologize if this video is a little bit more grim, gruesome, or morbid than you might have expected. It's definitely not the video I typically put on my channel, and it has a much darker tone than anything I've done in quite a while. If you did find it interesting though, maybe give it a like, possibly subscribe for more. I'm always doing videos about the zombie storyline or the inspirations of the zombie storyline, and if you'd like to learn more about that, I'd recommend you subscribe to my channel and stick around. I'm gonna go, and bye.